Welcome to Lento English. Ready to level up your English? Here we learn through stories, slow, clear, and fun. Listen, relax, and enjoy the journey.
One introduction. This story is about two very powerful men in America. One man is Jeff Bezos. He is the founder of Amazon. He is one of the richest people in the world. The other man is Donald Trump. He is the President of the United States. For many years, these two men had a long public fight. They criticized each other often. Mr. Trump often used harsh words against Mr. Bezos and his newspaper, The Washington Post. Their disagreements were common news. This chapter introduces a major change. Mr. Bezos has recently decided to end the fight. He is now trying to build a new, friendly relationship with President Trump. This sudden change has surprised many people who have worked with Mr. Bezos for a long time. It also surprised the journalists at The Washington Post. This lesson explores how business, great wealth, and politics are connected. It looks at the reasons why a top businessman chose to make peace with the powerful president. This decision was not quick or emotional. It was a calculated move to protect his large business empire. The conflict between the two men was expensive for Mr. Bezos. In the past, Amazon lost a very important $10 billion government contract. Many people believed this happened because President Trump disliked Mr. Bezos. This loss was a clear warning about the dangers of having a bad relationship with the government. To show his new intentions, Mr. Bezos took several friendly actions. Amazon gave a donation of $1 million to help with President Trump's inauguration ceremony. Amazon's video platform also streamed the event live. Furthermore, Amazon signed a deal for a documentary about the First Lady, Melania Trump. They paid a very large sum of money for this project. Amazon also started airing old episodes of the president's former television show, The Apprentice. These actions were seen as ways to send both money and praise to the president. People close to Mr. Bezos say he is acting strategically. He needs government support for his companies. His space company, Blue Origin, especially needs large government contracts to succeed. By making peace, Mr. Bezos hopes to protect his companies from new government rules and actions. This new friendship shows the power of strategy over personal feelings when dealing with high-level politics. It marks the end of a long public battle and the start of a strategic alliance aimed at business preservation. 2. The old fight. The relationship between Jeff Bezos and Donald Trump was very difficult for many years. Their public fight started during President Trump's first time in office. They had constant disagreements. President Trump often used harsh words against Bezos. Bezos is the owner of the large company Amazon, and he also owns the newspaper, The Washington Post. The Washington Post frequently published critical stories about the president. Because of this critical reporting, President Trump often attacked Bezos. He sometimes called the businessman Jeff Bozo in public statements. Bezos also criticized President Trump. He once said that the president was a threat to democracy. The conflict between the two powerful men was not only about words. It also had a big impact on Bezos's business interests. Amazon wanted a very large and important government contract. This contract was for cloud computing services for the military, known as the Pentagon. The contract was worth $10 billion. Amazon did not win this contract. The contract, which was called JEDI, went to a competing technology company. In October 2019, Amazon decided to sue the government. The company said that President Trump had personally blocked Amazon from getting the contract. They argued that this happened because Trump disliked Bezos and the newspaper he owned. This loss was a major moment in their fight. People who worked closely with Bezos saw it as a severe business defeat. One former editor of the Washington Post joked about the situation. He said that buying the newspaper did not cost Bezos $250 million, but rather it cost him $10 billion due to the loss of the contract. A person who met Bezos after the loss said that the businessman was deeply hurt by the event. Bezos felt that the decision was wrong and unfair to his company. This public battle created long-term resentment between them. The conflict showed how business and political power were deeply connected in America. It was clear that the government could hurt Bezos's large companies. This major contract loss was seen by some as the final, hardest blow of the conflict during President Trump's first term. 3. A big change. After the long fight, Jeff Bezos made a big public change in his relationship with Donald Trump. This change surprised many people, even those who worked with Bezos for a long time. It also shocked the journalists at the Washington Post. When President Trump started his second term, Bezos stood near him. He was with other important technology leaders. Amazon showed its support for the ceremony. The company gave a large donation of $1 million. Amazon also streamed the ceremony live on its Prime Video platform. Bezos continued to show friendly actions. Amazon paid $40 million for a documentary about the First Lady, Melania Trump. This was a very large amount of money. People familiar with the deal said that about $28 million went directly to the First Lady. This deal was seen as a way to send money to the president's family. It was also a way to show praise to President Trump. Additionally, Amazon paid money to air old episodes of The Apprentice on Prime Video. This was President Trump's reality television program that ran from 2004 to 2017. These financial moves showed a clear change in the dynamic between the two powerful men. Bezos also worked to build social ties with the Trump family. He hosted a large party at his mansion. He invited non-members, including Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner, who is the president's son-in-law. They also went to Bezos's holiday party later that year. People close to Bezos saw these actions as very practical. They believed he was a smart businessman. He was making choices to protect his large companies from government problems. One person said the deal for the documentary was very pragmatic. It was an effort to buy the Trump family's affection. The cost of this effort was low compared to the benefits for Amazon and Blue Origin. Bezos owns many large businesses. These include Amazon, the space company Blue Origin, and the Washington Post. These businesses need good relationships with the government. They are vulnerable to tax changes and government contracts. The second term of President Trump presented big risks. Bezos had learned a lesson from losing the $10 billion government contract in the past. This new relationship was a strategic alliance. Bezos described President Trump as a changed man. He said Trump was calmer and more confident than before. This marked the clear end of their public fight and the start of a big change. 4. Money and media. The new friendship between the powerful businessman and President Trump was not just about polite meetings. It involved large financial deals and changes in media control. These actions showed a clear effort to build a strong, positive relationship. One major deal involved a documentary about the First Lady, Melania Trump. Amazon paid $40 million for this documentary. This payment was very large, almost 3 times the amount offered by a competing studio. A significant portion of this money, around $28 million, was set to go directly to the First Lady. People saw this large financial deal as a way to flatter the president's family and gain favor. Amazon also used its popular streaming platform, Prime Video, to show support. The company paid to air old episodes of President Trump's long-running reality television show, The Apprentice. This move served 2 purposes. It sent money to the president and also offered him positive attention on a major platform. These business decisions demonstrated a calculated strategy to create goodwill. The owner's media company, the Washington Post newspaper, also experienced big changes. This newspaper is famous and very influential. In the past, the paper often published articles that criticized President Trump and his government. Now, the newspaper's direction shifted. The owner started making major changes to the editorial section. He decided to stop the newspaper from officially supporting the presidential candidate, Kamala Harris. He also gave specific instructions about what the opinion section should publish. He ordered the paper to run articles only about personal liberties and free markets. He promised that the section would never publish views that went against these principles. These sudden changes caused worry among the staff. Many experienced journalists felt that the newspaper was losing its independence and its ability to report freely. Some respected journalists chose to leave the paper because of the new rules. They believed the owner's focus had moved from honest reporting to protecting his business interests. Some people saw a direct connection between the owner controlling the newspaper's message and the rewards for his other companies. By making large financial deals and limiting critical coverage in his newspaper, the businessman was clearly seeking peace. This strategic use of money and media helped build the new, friendly relationship with the president. This was a very practical move designed to protect his large businesses from government pressure. 5. Why Jeff changed. Many people were surprised when Jeff Bezos started a new, friendly relationship with President Trump. People who worked closely with Bezos say this change was planned. They believe it was a smart business decision. Bezos is one of the richest people in the world. He chose to make practical changes to keep his large companies safe. One major event helped Bezos decide to change his mind. This was when Amazon lost a very important government contract. The contract was worth $10 billion. Bezos believed that President Trump stopped this deal because of his anger toward the Washington Post newspaper, which Bezos owns. This loss was a bad moment for Bezos. A former editor joked that the newspaper cost Bezos $10 billion, not $250 million. This loss was a big sign. It showed Bezos the real danger of fighting the president. Bezos worried about the great power a second-term president would have. His business interests were very vulnerable. His companies, including Amazon and the space company Blue Origin, rely on government contracts. These deals are worth tens of billions of dollars. Bezos also worried about government regulators and new rules about taxes. If the government put pressure on big tech companies, Amazon would be in danger. People close to him said Bezos was operating with some fear. He also felt angry about how the previous government, led by Democrats, treated technology companies. He felt the Democrats were trying to harm big tech. Bezos made a clear decision. He needed to protect his large business empire. This was not because he suddenly agreed with President Trump politically. It was a calculated move for business preservation. Bezos knew he could lose important contracts, especially for Blue Origin, if he continued to fight the president. Blue Origin is Bezos's passion project, and it needs government support to succeed. One person who worked with him said the change was part practicality and part fear. Bezos is a tough businessman. He cares about his company's growth. Making peace was a low-cost way to try and buy the Trump family's affection and stop direct legal action against Amazon. For Bezos, this strategic alliance was simply a matter of preservation for his entire enterprise. 6. A dream of space. Jeff Bezos has a dream that is very important to him. This dream is his space company, called Blue Origin. Blue Origin builds rockets and wants to make travel into space easy for many people. This company is a passion project for Bezos. He cares about Blue Origin very much, even though it currently loses money. For Bezos, the goal is not just profit. It is the chance to be a key player in the future of space travel. To succeed, Blue Origin needs large contracts from the United States government. These contracts bring money and important work to the company. Without these deals, the company cannot grow. Some people say that without federal contracts, Blue Origin would be dead in the water. This means the company would fail. Blue Origin is in strong competition with other companies. The biggest rival is SpaceX, owned by Elon Musk. SpaceX has done many successful launches. Bezos needs to win government support to keep up with his main competitor. The government often gives out contracts for important missions, like sending humans back to the moon. Blue Origin won a contract to help send people to the moon in 2029. Because government contracts are so vital, the political environment matters greatly to Blue Origin. If the president likes one company more than another, it can change everything. Bezos knows that if President Trump decides to favor Elon Musk and SpaceX, it could hurt Blue Origin badly. If the most powerful politician and the world's richest man, Musk, worked together against him, Bezos's space dream could be destroyed. This is a big fear. The total success of Blue Origin truly depends on federal contracts. If the government changes its focus, for example, By prioritizing missions to Mars over lunar missions, Blue Origin would suffer a great deal. The changes in Bezos's relationship with President Trump are partly about protecting Blue Origin. He needs the government to support his vision for space. Winning big contracts means the company can grow and keep working toward its big goals. This connection shows why his business interests and political actions are so closely linked. He understands that political peace is necessary to keep this dream alive. 7. The newspaper's sad story. The new friendly relationship between Jeff Bezos and President Trump had a bad effect on one of Bezos's companies, the Washington Post newspaper. Many people were surprised and worried by the swift changes at the famous paper. The newspaper began to lose its reputation for being independent. Experienced and respected journalists felt worried and angry. They believed the paper was losing its ability to report freely. Several respected writers decided to leave their jobs. They went to work for rival news organizations. At least 12 seasoned journalists chose to move on. Bezos gave new orders for the opinion section. He told the editors that they must only run articles about certain ideas, such as personal liberties and free markets. This sudden shift was seen by many staff members as a way to help Bezos's larger businesses, like Amazon and Blue Origin. They thought the newspaper was being used to gain favor with the president. This caused low morale among the staff. A famous editor who had worked at the paper for 5 decades said he would never write for the Washington Post again. He said the newspaper was no longer the same paper he knew. One veteran journalist resigned after a column she wrote, which criticized the changes to the opinion pages, was removed by the chief executive. This showed how deeply the changes affected the staff. The Washington Post is a paper known for its long history, including breaking the famous Watergate scandal many years ago. But now, the paper's commercial success was failing. Its audience became smaller. Reports showed that the newspaper lost hundreds of thousands of subscribers. These readers stopped buying the paper because they did not like the new direction. The atmosphere inside the newsroom was difficult. Staff members felt anxious and uncertain about their futures. More than 400 journalists working at the Post signed a letter. They sent this letter to Bezos, asking him to meet with them to talk about their serious concerns. Bezos decided not to reply to the letter. The sad story of the Washington Post shows the high cost of the new political peace. The owner chose business protection for his large companies. This choice meant sacrificing the long-standing independence of his famous newspaper. 8. A new peace. The long fight between Jeff Bezos and President Trump is now over. This surprising change happened quickly and created a new, friendly relationship between the two powerful men. Many people who knew Bezos for a long time were shocked by this big shift. The public fight stopped, and a strategic alliance began. This new peace helps President Trump greatly. Bezos and his companies gave money and attention to the president's family and projects. Amazon showed President Trump's old reality television show. This action sent both money and a message of respect to the president. This support helps President Trump look strong and successful. Jeff Bezos also benefits from this new friendship. He is a very smart businessman who made a practical choice. He worried about the power of the government over his large companies. Companies like Amazon and his space company, Blue Origin, need big contracts from the government to grow. These contracts are worth many billions of dollars. Having a good relationship with the government makes it easier to protect these important business interests. This new alliance is a calculation for business safety. Bezos needed to protect his companies from new rules and problems that the government might create. He chose to stop disagreeing publicly with the president. This was a way to keep his large business empire safe and secure. He needed to ensure Blue Origin could continue its dream of space travel, which depends heavily on federal contracts. Now, the two men speak kindly about each other in public. President Trump has praised Bezos's work. Bezos also said that President Trump seemed calmer than he was before. This public agreement shows the success of the new strategy. This story is a strong lesson about power and influence in America. Even the world's richest men must work well with the most powerful politicians. Bezos chose business preservation over public argument. The end of their conflict marked the start of a strategic partnership that benefits both men, helping them keep their wealth and influence.